Southeast Sports Plus. We roll on with hour number 2 with Cory Curtis out of Nashville. Of course, there's lots to talk about in Nash Vegas with the Heisman Trophy finalists there and Diego Pavia. Lots of news there. Lots of news on the court as well. The Tennessee Titans also, sneaky good, sneaky interesting here in the last
scoring points.
Exactly.
Scoring points.
Yeah. Can't wait to dive.
24 points.
Last
4 games.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it with this team. And
the bar is low. All right, the bar is low.
And they are rising to the occasion on every one. We will start with Diego Pavia, who made the trip over to the Big Apple and finished second place in the voting. We were just talking during the break, and you and I had very similar, actually exact similar ballots there. What'd you make of Diego Pavia's trip there to the Big Apple, all things included?
Well, okay, start with, the vote. It was not as close as I thought it would be. I think he still got 189 first place votes. But didn't Fernando get like 600 or something like that? Yeah. I expected it to be much closer than that. I was frankly surprised. Like, he didn't even win the Southeast, which I kind of found ridiculous. I don't know how you watched him play and didn't vote for him.
Right.
And but whatever. I mean, people have their choices, and that's fine. So, Mendoza won. I expected him to win. It just wasn't quite as close as I expected. Obviously, the way he handled it was not great. And because you're still representing your university, you're also representing the Heisman Trust.
Yeah.
You were brought there as a guest. I mean, being invited to that vote and that reveal is one of the biggest honors in all of college sports. And I understand, the disappointment for the young man is there, but you have to handle it with more grace.
Yeah.
You just do. And I said this to you in the break, and I sincerely believe it. Being this guy is what's helped propel him to where he is.
Yeah.
But you still got to grow up at some point, and you got to be able to compartmentalize these things and know that there's a time and a place, for everything. And so now Vanderbilt's first ever player that goes to New York for the Heisman, it's going to be remembered for the wrong things.
Yeah.
And that's the real unfortunate thing about it.
Yeah. How do you think Clark Lee feels about this? Because I mean, he made the trip to New York. He said all the right things about Diego Pavia, and now, as you mentioned, he's going to be remembered for all the wrong reasons. And I just feel like his coach is the exact opposite of what Diego Pavia is.
Well, that's not all Diego Pavia is, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. There's a lot more to Diego Pavia than that. I had some guy on Twitter telling me, saying every bad word he could about Pavia, and then telling me what a Saint Mendoza is. And I'm like, well, that's great. But we were with Diego on Wednesday when he was buying Christmas gifts for Special Olympians out of his own pocket. I mean, he's does he have an edge to him? Absolutely.
Sure.
Do he and his brothers look like a bunch of mafia hitmen sometimes? Absolutely. But you know what? They are.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Just because they look different from you and it might scare you, that's okay. Now, when you behave like that afterwards, that's not okay.
Right.
That's not okay. But he was being criticized before he ever got there.
For sure.
This was before any of this happened. And so, I guess this is my deeper way of saying Clark, I'm sure, because I don't want to speak for him, is disappointed, just like everybody, I'm sure, in the Vanderbilt community is. But he also knows Diego way better than any of us.
No question. No
way
question.
Better.
Yeah.
And he knows all the ins and outs and what makes him tick and, and all that. And so, I'm sure, like a parent, he'd be disappointed, right? But, you don't disown your kids because they make a mistake.
Right.
You just don't. And so I think it's probably more along those lines.
Yeah. as you take a look at Mendoza and Pavia, and now that the hay's in the barn, so to speak, with these two players overall. I know the way that you voted is the same way that I did, but how do you think that Fernando Mendoza will be remembered? Because it's I mean, this is the first time ever, it feels like we're living in the upside down in Stranger Things, that you have an Indiana quarterback and a Vanderbilt quarterback as the best two in America.
It's crazy.
I know.
It really is crazy. It really is crazy. So much of these Heisman winners are remembered by what they become as pros, which isn't right.
Point. Yeah,
it's got nothing to do with anything. But it's always like, we don't remember Johnny Manziel for being an electric college football player. We remember him for being a bozo in the NFL and screwing everything up. We still remember Tim Tebow as a great college football player.
Right.
But we also remember him as a disastrous NFL player.
Yeah.
All right. And so there's some of that goes with that. But I think when I look at Mendoza and I say what's going to determine this year for him, I need to see what he does in the playoffs. If he leads Indiana to the championship game, then he will truly have a great legacy.
Right.
If they go 1 and out in the playoffs, he'll be known as a guy who led them to an undefeated finish in the Big Ten and winning the championship, and he had a great year. But if he can take them to the championship game of this playoffs, I think it could take his legacy to another level. And then whatever he does from the NFL, from there, has to be seen. But that's the crazy thing about now how we have the Heisman now, and we have up to like 3 or 4 more games.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, legacies can be built.
No question.
Legacies. I mean, it's just like the NCAA basketball tournament. I mean, legacies are built in that thing, and nobody cares what you do in the regular season anymore. It's only what you do in the dance, and we're getting more in that direction here. And so, like Julian saying, distant on the ballot, right?
Yeah.
What if he blows up in the playoff?
Oh,
and wins it all for Ohio State. I mean, everybody is just going to be like, wow, Julian saying first pick of the draft. That's what they'll be saying.
Yes.
If he goes off in Ohio State, wins all those things. So this is a chance to rewrite some of the finish to the season, or it's a chance to put an exclamation point on it for some people. Of course, Jeremiah Love's not playing in it, which is highly disappointing. But that's the way it is.
Right.
Cory, one more question on Diego Pavia, and then we can put this all to rest. I know I asked about Clark Lee, but do you think this now hurts his draft stock?
No. I mean, look, it might with some people, but I mean, it can't hurt him more than being 5'9".
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean, so if you like him enough to look past being 5'9", you like him because of his edge in his athleticism. You're going to have questions about this, I think, for sure. And like I said, there might be a coach or two who's just like, no, I don't want to deal with it. Like the whole Shedeur Sanders circus. Like apparently people didn't want to deal with that, but Shedeur was thought to be a top 5 pick. Nobody's saying Diego's a top 5 pick. Although if he were 6'4" and put up those numbers,
100%.
He'd be one of the first 3 picks of the draft. But he's not. He's 5'9", and so he's starting. I mean, somebody's going to take a chance on him.
Yeah.
Because Russell Wilson's not tall. Drew Brees was about 5'11". I know they list baby Grogu in Arizona at 6 feet tall, but I'm not buying it. He looks just like Grogu. He's adorable. He's got those cheeks and those ears. He's adorable.
But he's tiny. Right.
But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of 5'9" quarterback. How tall is Jalen Hurts?
Oh, probably 6 foot, I'd say.
Yeah.
Probably 5'11", 6 foot. In there with cleats, maybe. Yeah.
So, but look, Diego's 5'9".
Yeah.
Even though he's listed at 6 foot.
Oh,
Diego's 5'9".
Yeah. I saw last year. I stood toe to toe with stood side by side with Dylan Gabriel, and he was another small quarterback too. And some team took a chance on him too. So it'll be really interesting to see how that all shakes out come the NFL draft. He'll be actually here in the Senior Bowl coming up in next month.
That's right.
Late next month. So we'll see him up close in person.
When I was a kid, I was fishing with my dad once, and the game warden came up to us and wanted to look at all the fish we had. And he pulled one of the walleye that we caught out, and he was like, I need to measure it because it looked a little small. And my dad pulled that fish out of the net and stretched it as hard as he could and handed it over to the game warden because he didn't want to get fined. And Diego, the night before heights and weights, if he does it at the combine, is going to be in one of those like vertical racks where you latch your ankles in and you hang yourself upside down. And he's just going to stretch himself until it's time to go.
As he should. From 5, who knows? That might give you 2 inches, 5'11", and you'll be good to go. It'll be good to go.
If you go, like you know how the Senator Kelly in Arizona, he was an astronaut. Well, he's got a twin brother, and when he was in space for like months, and he came back, he was like 1.5 inches taller than his brother, because you get bigger in space because of the less gravity.
Right.
Diego should go.
Can we put him on a rocket ship?
Go put him in the space station until the combine gets here. So Diego can come down at 6 feet tall.
Right after the bowl game, instead of boarding the team plane going back home or the team bus going back home,
he goes to NASA.
He just goes. To the ISS.
SpaceX.
There's a space station literally an hour away from Orlando. Yeah. Just go over to Melbourne.
Well. I mean, we got Rocket City. We got Huntsville right down the road.
There, yeah, right there.
Strap him to something.
Even better,
jump down I-65.
You don't even have to go on the plane back to Nashville. You could just drive over to the Space Coast. They call it the Space Coast for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
We got it all figured out.
I love it. Let's move to basketball now. Vanderbilt, the highest-ranked SEC team in the top 25. Another win for Coach Byington's group. They stay undefeated there on the season. What are you making this early start here for the Commodores?
Well, would Tyler Nichols score 30 this time?
Yes.
I think. I think that is really the most impressive part of them is they have so many guys who can torch you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not relying on one guy each night. They have a number of different guys who can just flat out torch you. And they all shoot the basketball extremely well. They all play at an incredible pace. He plays a lot of guys, and he's got the team he wants. And we talked about how they were confident. We see why. I mean, I can't say how wrong I was about Byington. I mean, because I thought it was uninspired. I thought he was going to be a 500 coach because Vanderbilt's a tough job.
Very.
But they've got some things straightened out with school NIL wise, and the way winning is important all of a sudden.
Right.
And he had the dinero to go out and basically buy a new team.
Mm-hmm.
They only brought back 3 players.
Right.
And these guys, they scout who they want. There is like pro teams have like college scouting and pro scouting. I mean, you've got that in college now.
Yes.
You've got your high school scouts and your college scouts.
Yeah.
And so you have to say they do a great job of scouting. They do a great job of analysis of who fits what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do a great job of getting it out of them, because there are no players on that team who are a disappointment right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they all come in and they deliver. And here's one of the big compliments you can. They're fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're fun to watch. They fill it up. And the thing that I enjoy is when Bryce Drew was here as the head coach, they were the softest team you've ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
Whenever things got tough, they just
That's a good point.
crumbled.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had a team with 2 or 3 NBA players on it that went winless in the SEC.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
It's almost hard to do. Yeah, with the talent they had.
Yeah. So I mean, look, there were holes in that roster, but with that many talented guys, you don't go winless in the SEC.
Right.
You win by accident sometimes.
Yeah.
But that team was soft and found a way. And he, while turning over the roster and implementing the style of play and the type of play and the type of players that he wants, has instilled a culture as well. And that's all really, really amazing that he done. I mean, like, we've seen the job that Shea Ralph has done, but it took Shea Ralph, 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And he just did it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Cory, I know when you look at the final score and it being an 11-point win over Central Arkansas, that's got to scare you just a little bit. And I know they had another close game against a G5 team in Western Kentucky, but the thing you could say about WKU is that they were a tournament team just 2 years ago. Or is there a little?
They were also up big in that game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. They were up big against Western Kentucky, and then Western Kentucky came back. An 11-point win does not concern me.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, no, because they played in the SEC ACC Challenge, and they played undefeated SMU, and what did they do?
They beat them,
ran them out the gym.
They smashed them to bits. So, if anything was going to concern me is, were they not quite as ready to play in that game against Central Arkansas, or did they try to do some different things? Did they get different guys minutes in that game because they knew they were playing, Scottie Pippen's old school?
Right.
So, yeah. I mean, it's one is always, to me, like, it was with the Titans. The last week with the win in Cleveland, I was like, and they ran for 180 yards. I said, I need to see the offensive line do it again.
Yeah.
All right, because one time it's a fluke. Well, they go to San Francisco, and no sacks and 130 yards rushing. They did it again.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, the offensive line headed in a better direction. If Vanderbilt has a few more of these, then I'll be concerned with one. And again, it's 11. It's not 3.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't just escape.
Yeah, you got a nice win there over Central Arkansas. Coming up next, though, it's Memphis in a traditional power. I think is a fair word for this Memphis Tigers program. Before we get your thoughts on it, let's listen to Coach Byington talking about the Memphis program.
Yeah, I mean, our decision making. On the offensive end, we were hesitant tonight, and we've been willing passers and making great decisions. That's been something we've done really well. And tonight we weren't. The break, the exams, or whatever else, the opponent. There was some things there. Probably all adds up, but we weren't sharp.
So that was him talking about some of the changes they'll make before this upcoming game. Just a few games left in a non-conference before they head into SEC play and in kind of the rough and tumble SEC league. As you think about this Memphis game and what's ahead for this basketball team, what are some of the things they need to do to buckle up and be able to start SEC play on the right note?
Well, I just think they need to avoid any hiccups, and they need to put away all these games that they should put away. I mean, this is a game they should win, right? Yeah. But it's also a name on their resume. Memphis may not be great this year, but it's a name on their resume.
Right.
And because right now, I mean, we're a long way from Selection Sunday. With this team, you got to start thinking about seeding.
Yes.
And all of these games count. And so, number one, win the games you should win, and then get to the SEC and get ready to battle. But number two, and probably the most important thing, make sure you're healthy when you get there. And I don't know what they need to do that. They've gotten Frankie Collins back, and that's helped this basketball team as well. And they've been able to just reintegrate him right into the lineup. So make sure your fluidity is still good and your team cohesion is still good. Be healthy and don't have any unnecessary red marks on your resume, because you're going to lose games in the SEC.
Sure.
And that's okay. You can finish 4th or 5th in the SEC and still be a top 4 seed in the tournament. And so, I hate to make it all about that, but this team is good enough to where that's what they should start thinking about, is positioning ourselves for March.